Hello friends, in this tutorial we're going to explore different types of fire in Niagara. The video might be a bit long, but after watching it, you won't need other tutorials on this topic. Stylized fire. First, we create an empty emitter. Then, in emitter update, we add spawn rate and increase the number of spawn particles. To give the particles movement, we add velocity. Naturally, velocity needs solve forces and velocity, which is automatically added by clicking Fix Issue. Now we have movement. In Initialize Particle, we set the particle lifetime. To spawn particles from a consistent origin, we add shape location. We set it to sphere, but reduce the size. In Initialize Particle, we set scale to random uniform and adjust the particle size so they don't all look identical. We also set the rotation to random. For velocity, we switch it to cone. Set the x angle to 0 and the z angle to 1 so the particles move upward. We adjust the cone angle, for example, to 35. We also set velocity speed to random range float, so the particles don't all move at the same speed. We use scale color, so the particles fade out toward the end of their lifetime. For size, we add scale sprite size and adjust the curve so the particles shrink near the end. By adding extra points and smoothing the curve, we get a softer size transition. We can also add sprite rotation rate, but be careful. High values can cause very aggressive spinning. Material setup. Now it's time to create a material for our particles. We open a new material and change the blend mode to translucent so opacity is enabled. We'll use two textures so you can better understand how they work. You can download these textures from the tutorial files. First, we add the alpha texture. We also add particle color. We add a multiply node. Connect the texture alpha to B. Connect the particle color alpha to A. Then we connect the multiply output to opacity. We connect particle color to emissive and also connect it once to base color. We could use the main texture color as well, but for now we skip that so the difference is clearer. We save the material and assign it to the sprite renderer. As mentioned before, the rotation intensity is too high, so we reduce it. Now we can add color to the particles. To avoid having a single flat color, we use Color Curve and define 2 or more colors to reach the desired result. As you can see, the fire still looks too uniform. To add variation, we need to use flipbook textures. Flipbook setup. In the sprite renderer settings, we need to change something. As you can see, each particle is showing the full texture split into 4 parts, which is not correct. So in Sprite Renderer, we enable sub-UV. Since our texture is 2 times 2, we enter those values in the settings. Now, as you can see, the texture is applied correctly, and each particle displays one of the 4 fire variations. If we want, we can also use the original alpha texture, so the color follows the same pattern. Realistic fire. This method is a bit different, but it's very fast and efficient. In this approach, I use a high-quality looping texture, which you can download from the channel membership files. It's an 8x8 texture where the fire animation is already baked in. I create a separate Niagara system for this and build a new emitter. The steps for this fire are similar to the previous one. So I simply create a basic material, apply the texture to it, and assign it to the sprite renderer. Sub-UV animation. I use sub-UV animation, a feature that animates particles using a texture atlas. All you need to do is add it in the sprite render setup. At first, as you can see, the fire looks a bit laggy and doesn't behave correctly. The reason is the particle lifetime, which needs to be set to 1. Now, as you can see, we get a very beautiful and realistic fire effect. This method is extremely fast and practical for creating fire. All you really need is a high-quality texture. Now that we have 2 fires, let's create smoke for them. Creating smoke with this method is not difficult at all. All we need to do is duplicate the fire material and keep only the opacity inside it. We also duplicate the fire emitter, rename it, and use it as our smoke emitter. Then we assign the smoke material to the smoke emitter. Now the only thing we need to do is increase most of the values, so the smoke appears larger and higher than the fire. First, I reduce the spawn rate, so the smoke is less dense compared to the fire. Next, I increase the lifetime, so the smoke rises higher. I also increase the velocity to give it more upward force. For scale sprite size, we slightly adjust the curve. This part depends on your personal taste and how you want the smoke to look. Smoke. Method 2. Niagara fluids. The second method uses Niagara fluids. First, you need to enable the Niagara fluids plugin. In the Niagara window, click Add Emitter and look for 3D gas grid, then add it. As you can see, this is an advanced smoke simulation with a lot of options and controls. To keep the video from getting too long, we simplify the setup. In the source section, we disable the sphere source. Then we enable Use Emitter Source. And assign the name of our own emitter to it. In our emitter, we need to add set fluid source. Make sure that in the properties, Sim Target is set to GPU. Calculate is set to fixed. This prevents errors. To make sure the fire is visible in the viewport, I scale up a bit. As you can see, the gas box is slightly too high, so we set its position to 0 to make sure the fire is fully inside the volume. Now we have our smoke. You can control its intensity using density. If the smoke feels too thick, you can reduce it in the render section by adjusting density gain and albedo.